So here we are. Welcome, everyone. If you've been here waiting for this, then here it is. If you just come, welcome to day 3 of MMVC 25. And our presenter, who's been presenting, I think every year since we started, or at least for many years, for the 14 years, and that is Dr. Anitha Devi, who's coming to us from India. She's a faculty member at the Department of English. She has been training teachers on how to use technology and using technology in all her language classes. She's using Moodle. I think you still are using Moodle. Yes, wonderful. And she has been using computer-assisted language learning methods with her students. She also did research on the topic from Anna University. She has integrated the use of Moodle in her classroom teaching, and she's an associate member and faculty coordinator at a students chapter, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, Professional Communication Society in the UK, and she's the guest editor of Asian EFL Journal. So welcome once again. Anitha, great to have you with us as always.
Thank you. Just give me a second. I'll just try to switch on the camera, and I think I should stop sharing to see the buttons on Zoom. Now I can see.
Great.
Yes, I just need to take one GPS photo because this is all for documentation.
Okay. And could you also raise your head, or fix your laptop so we can see all of you, not just the top of your head?
Yes, I think the lighting is also weak.
No, the lighting is wonderful. I like the yellow that you're wearing. Yep.
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine.
Just raise yourself.
Yes.
Or that's it. Perfect.
Yes. I just need one click and then I'll start with the presentation.
So you did a selfie?
No, I just took it on the screen. I used a camera to take
I know.
from the phone. I need GPS photo for documentation purpose. Otherwise, they just reject our presentations. So we just need to follow that. So should I start with that wonderful introduction?
Thank you very much.
Thank you for this opportunity, Nelly. This is a venture that I have started, and it's a mind-boggling journey if I look at fantasy and digital fiction. So I'll just switch off my camera and just go on with the presentation. Am I audible and clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is on narratives in the interface, that is web series and any kind of digital fiction or interactive fiction which we can come across these days. And CMC is computer-mediated communication. So we are just going to explore a few things about CMC and digital fiction. So I think my presentation. Yes. So this is the abstract that you would have seen if you had gone through the abstracts. So I'm not going to read that, but rather we'll explore. So what I'm looking at is the feedback and the fiction, how participatory the culture has become with the audience. So I've taken the YouTube as a platform here, and we are going to look at a couple of things related to one or two examples of the fantasy narrative. So what is digital fiction? It's a combination of all the kinds of modes, multimodal text, comics, or even audio, and a lot of fictional participation. I think it's an extension when we talk about YouTube fantasy web series and other kinds of web series where the audience are involved. I feel that digital fiction is more of an extension of the video games that we have looked at. in yesteryears. So this is my understanding of it. And why should we focus on fantasy narratives on YouTube is there's a lot of comments and people start reacting and responding and taking on as non-player characters, and they would like the characters to play, and it also reveals a lot of things related to how absurd it is or how their characters are, and what is their inner mind. So there's a lot of CMC theory in this context. When I say CMC, it is computer mediated communication. So the objectives are to look at CMC platforms that influence storytelling. Here, it's mainly YouTube. Of course, we do have other platforms, and also look at how audience interaction and narrative co-construction is happening, and understand artificial intelligence role in dynamic content generation. So when we look at computer-mediated communication via computers and digital platforms, we have to look at these four concepts: synchronicity, interactivity, social presence, and media richness. Um, Earlier times, when media came in, just the camera or the audio, whether it's for radio or television, people used to, restrict it only to the people who can act or who can use their voice so really well. Nowadays, everybody takes part in sharing the comments, or they would like to take a role, and their presence is really felt. So the public, they really take a active participation, and sometimes we don't know why the narrative goes in a particular direction. So when we read the threads, that is the comment threads, we get to know a lot of changes that take place in the story. So what is synchronicity, and how is it relevant over here? When we talk about synchronizing information and media, here we get a lot of chance to compare the real time comments on live streams or even delayed responses. So this is what I had got to know, and when I referred to the articles by Dennis Fuller, and I do not know how to pronounce that name, 2008. Yes, and social presence theory. Here, this is way back in 1976, that there has been a lot of understanding on how users perceive intimacy, immediacy, or realism via digital characters. Now, we may wonder how is it possible when computers came in, there were lots of ways in which these things did take place, like through text. There were a lot of interaction. So hypertext started very early. And so here we have taken two examples: the Guild or Epic NPC Man. It is there on YouTube. You can just search it on YouTube, and as I'm presenting, you can also have a look at it. So there's a blurred boundary between the actors and characters in the series. Here, actually, this is the Guild. This is I tried to capture it from the YouTube, and the other one is from the fandom page. And here we can also see that there's a lot of interactivity and engagement with the story, with the narrative. And the narrative also brings in the audience participation. So there's a psychological variable where there's a lot of control with the message as well as the responsiveness. And this is recorded in the article by Sundar in 2004. So there's a lot of branching of narratives, and based on the polls in YouTube series, if you see the comments, I was really surprised. There is more than 600 plus comments for one compilation of the epic NPC Man itself. So, and there's 1 million views for one a short video for about, say, 6 minutes or even 10 to 15 minutes. So, the media richness theory is really relevant these days because all of us, whether it's any social media platform, whether it's Instagram or YouTube or any other platform, there's a lot of media rich information And based on that, there's a lot of participation, feedback, there's a lot of cues, and people personalize it also. So there are lots of fan memes which make the platform rich. And especially in YouTube, there's a lot of video and comments. And there are other platforms for fandom also, where there are lots of memes and other kinds of possibilities where they are involving themselves in the character role play for the non-participatory characters. And this is the CMC dynamics in YouTube fantasy digital fiction, where the input factors, of course, CMC has a lot of theories, and YouTube is having the likes and comments. Well, unless the comments are switched off, the comments are open for showing likes and dislikes and changes in the narrative. And there's a lot of engagement that comes in with the audience when the narrative outcomes are taken care of. So the fantasy digital fiction series leads to community meaning making also here. So there's a group of people there, who really become the community who would like the stories to take in a particular direction, and their narrative also takes a different level. So there's a lot of accessibility when we use YouTube as a platform, and immediate feedback loops are there when comments and likes and shares are there. And it is also algorithm driven. The visibility is really clear that it is algorithm driven, and accordingly, the feeds are there for the participants, the audience. So there's a lot of monetization and creator engagement over here. So CNC elements on YouTube, comment threads, immediate interaction is what makes the creator also to work on it, and the non-player participants also to work on it. And likes and shares helps to boost the content. And here it is the web series, and there's a lot of influence visibility. Okay, and that helps the algorithm to recommend the changes. So here we have synchronicity and interactivity, where we focus on real time versus delayed feedback. I did mention it earlier. And interactive storytelling tools. There are lots of AI tools and storytelling tools which help in generating um, these kinds of web series. And here the examples are Epic, NPC Man. NPC stands for non-player characters, and the Guild. So applying this over here for these stories in short, we can look at that the characters feel alive via vlogs and live streams. And there's enhanced fantasy realism that is working here. And there's a lot of behind the scenes content also, which helps the participants and the audience to relate with the characters. So there are other few channels like Walking in Circles. Apart from Epic and PC Man, there's Riese, Kingdom Falling, and The Guild. There's something called as Murder Drones also. That's also very interesting. And we are going to take this as a case study and see how we can analyze this. I've just taken one video of Epic and PC Man. So role playing drops, and there's a lot of humor. And the humor is mainly not because of the characters as such. It's also because of the participation of the audience. And there's a lot of absurdity that comes in the way, and it also shapes the recurring fan responses. The narrative gets shaped that way, and there's lots of shorts and long form episodes. Sometimes there's a compilation, and I've just looked at a compilation here in the Guild. It actually was a success. So when there's a lot of participation and a lot of success that YouTube gives for such a web series, so there's a fan driven development automatically for this web series story, and it has parasocial dynamics also over here. So role of digital performance in these web series are dual performance, that is role as well as real life, and there's cross platform visibility. Persistent narrative identities are there. Now we'll see what cross platform visibility is. So here there's a lot of recognition, reach, and engagement across multiple digital platforms beyond just YouTube. So there's a fandom website, and there are lots of other platforms like Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, Discord, and Twitch. So we can see here how this cross-platform activity really works. There's a lot of fan theories and lore discussions, meme culture, narrative speculation in Reddit. And in Instagram, we have character quotes, uh, visual aesthetics, behind the scenes content. So this again boosts the advertisement for the web series. In TikTok, there are fan edits, reenactments, comedic spin-offs, cosplay storytelling. Now, I found it very interesting. There's one America's cosplay where some characters take the role of a Disney character. Now, in Disneyland, I think that cosplay really works in real time. So, in Twitter or X, we have announcements, live reactions, character role play accounts. And in Discord, where most of the youth are there, fan communities discussing plots, organizing events, suggesting story arcs. Now, in Twitch, we have creator question and answer, role play live streams, live discussions of episodes. Now, when we look at in terms of analyzing it in an academic lens, how it works conceptually in terms of computer-mediated communication and theoretically also. In CMC theory, the insight is that when we look at cross-platform visibility, it actually increases synchronicity and interactivity between the narrative as well as the participants. Here it's a web series. So as viewers are engaging with the content in real time across platforms, there's a lot of involvement in the viewership of the web series as such. So it's really extraordinary to see that in one short video we have more than 1 million viewers, and it's not just that. There are lots of people who are giving the comments, and they are psychologically associated with it. They want the character to play in a particular way, and sometimes they start empathizing, sometimes they start showing absurdity, and then they also go back and tell that they have been observed when the character really reveals what it is. So there's a lot of transmedia storytelling in terms of characters and stories evolving across the platform, letting each medium contribute something unique to the narrative. So every time there's some kind of a twist and turn, which makes the other non-player participants or characters or even the audience not know what is going to happen next. So there's less of some predictable narrative that happens in this kind of a transmedia storytelling. So narrative transportation, here we have visibility on multiple platforms, reinforces emotion, and fans stay in the story world uh, beyond the episode runtime. This is what I exactly was telling. They live with the story even after the duration of the YouTube is over. So they would like to go on with the other platforms where they can really talk about the character or get involved in the narrative or give suggestions. So platform studies really make a difference. How this algorithmic differences, that is YouTube's recommendations versus Reddit upvotes are, and how it affects what content goes viral and how stories spread. Now, here we have an example from Epic NPC Man by Viva La Dirt League. And the main episodes are actually released every week. And there are quick behind the scenes jokes and Bodger. Bodger is a character there. Bodger memes and Reddit and Discord. We have low deep dives, character arcs, user generated fantasy quests. Now, we may wonder that CMC and we have only some stories and narratives based on my title. But if you look at it in a deeper sense, there's a lot of algorithm and artificial intelligence driven storytelling where the audience also are given importance. The audience can take uh, a direction that they would like to show in the narrative and in the web series. So it is actually the audience's digital culture. The story actually just doesn't live in the videos, but it lives in the minds of the audience who try to create and recreate and take part in this digital culture. So what I try to look at is maybe I can share this. Should I share this? Or can you put it in the, is it possible, Nelly? Can you put it in the chat box, this
No, you
link?
need to copy and paste it. Do you want me to get it and then paste it?
Yeah,
I will get it and
yeah, please. If there's time, maybe we can have a look at it for a few seconds, the YouTube video, if possible. Let me just give the analysis part here. This is just one episode where Rowan and Ben are there, and it's a scene moment. And here, this viewer's reaction and the fan engagement loop goes with the in character role play, the lore expansion, then the game logic commentary, and the meta dialogue extension. See, we don't need to look at too much of these terminologies, rather, because this is an analysis that I've done for the academic aspect. We can just look at how the viewer reaction goes on with the character role play. And when the fans look at it and again go back to the viewer reaction and they give suggestions. When we see the video, we will really understand on YouTube. Audience participation, here the contribution of ideas, theories, memes, and a sense of narrative ownership is there, and fandom, community building happens. So the analysis of this is in terms of social presence theory, synchronicity, and interactivity. What are the computer-mediated takeaways for analyzing the comments for one particular video? We can do it for the whole web series also and have a clear analysis of the participants and the characters. We can also get to know what kind of identity these fans have emotionally with the characters like Brit, Adam, and Rowan. And what are the synchronous aspects in terms of comments that are reflected? What kind of jokes are there amongst the participants? And what is the response? And how specific are the time codes? And viewers make suggestions on full length movies, and they also try to join in the role play. I've taken the comments from that video clip and look at how the community memory works. For example, there are catchphrases like flippity dippity, and you always need a healer. It actually shares a culture, signals a shared culture where these fans are together in the comment and they are in a loop. They are engaged in a loop, watching and viewing, and they're commenting. Though they don't know each other, they may be viewers from different places also. So here we are looking at comments are not just reviews; they are performances in terms of CMC interactivity and media richness. We have a lot of humor, as I mentioned earlier, allusion, tone, emoji, and memes, which actually help to deepen their engagement. there's transmedia behavior in terms of the spin-offs, unofficial spin-offs, and parallel telling tracks. Sometimes they also have certain edits or certain changes of the whole section of the video based on the comments. And this, as I mentioned, I'm repeating this again and again, digital community building, because most of the participants wouldn't know who they are. They may not even disclose their identities. Role play becomes a cultural shorthand for becoming belonging to the fan tribe. And for example, in fan-made lore, now in this epic NPC, Bodger is actually a blacksmith NPC, because he sells only swords and always greets customers the same way. So here in the comment, a viewer tries to joke and comments that Bodger was once a legendary warrior who took an arrow to the knee, which is why he becomes a blacksmith. Originally, he wasn't. So even though in we see all these kinds of things, the character transforms and they get a different you know character totally in terms of what they're doing based on the comments. So it's a lore, and it's not there in the actual videos that he is a blacksmith. And it actually brings in an imaginative universe where the fans are sharing their imagination, their views, their absurdity, their humor, and they do it in a playful manner, and they get engaged in the story. So lore actually deepens immersion for the audience as such. So they get involved. This is something like, when television series are there and all these soap operas are there, there are certain people in the family who start emoting. Even for a movie, they start emoting, they start giving comments. They tell the comment to a neighbor who's sitting next to them if it's in a theater. And they sometimes share it openly, loudly. Here, they get a chance to not just comment but participate in it completely. So fans build and share lore in the comments, showing how digital storytelling becomes collaborative in CMC environments. So here, NPCs and CMC concepts in Epic NPC Man. We can look at some of the characters. The NPC characters are that is the non-player character, Bodger, Greg, Baradun, and Gary, Rowan, and how the narrative world and the community building is really happening with the fantasy. So here, uh, just give me a second. I just need to.
I just want to
Try to.
comment here
Yeah.
while
I'm
you're
just trying
doing
to
something else.
move the.
Your students must love you. That's my comment for now.
Thank you, Nelly. Yeah. So, uh, in terms of Bodger here, it brings in a lot of media richness. He uses gestures, tone, and repeated lines to show how minimal cues drive interaction. And then with Greg, we can see his social presence. His robotic patrols parody the absence of empathy or awareness in CMC bots. And then Baradun is wizard NPC, and the synchronicity in what is demonstrated there in terms of CMC. There's a lot of mistimed spells, and there's a lag. It mirrors a lag or miscommunication in digital channels. And with Gary, who's a generic villager, there's a lot of interactivity and feedback loops. So viewers anticipate his broken quests and glitches, forming participatory fan humor. So this we can find in the comments, and when we do an analysis, a kind of a sentimental analysis for these characters, we can really understand that there's a lot of broken quests and glitches. For Rowan, who's a quest giver, he's the I don't know why it's always felt as frenemy. Maybe it's something really peculiar to the story, and it's an algorithm. It's an AI-driven logic satire. So there's a lot of repetitive or illogical quests and mocking on how platforms assign content in this whole imaginative universe, along with what the actual person who would have created the story, narrative world of the story, there's a fantasy MMO backdrop, there's community building, and the fans expand the lore and engage via shared jokes, comments, and role play. So I think more than the actual visual that is there on YouTube. Um, on this web series, there must be a lot of comments, and I think it's a engaging experience. So on a lighter vein, it's entertaining and relaxing if anybody would like to, forget what they've been going through. That way, I would look at it. Of course, academically, we are looking at CMC theories and we are trying to analyze. But in general, if you want to forget everything and have a look at it, a web series, and this gives you an understanding of the different kinds of personalities and how the mind also works. So these NPCs highlight how digital narratives and CMC platforms like YouTube allow fans to engage with AI-like characters in humorous and critical ways. So the characters function like metaphors for how algorithms or scripted digital agents behave in a predictable yet chaotic way. I think sometimes the fans are here allowed to have that freedom in this imaginative space where they can show their inner mind, and then they go back on it and then be sorry for it and have fun over each other. So in a way, it is harmless. And YouTube algorithms and narrative arc, here we have content visibility, which is actually shaped by the algorithms. And it also impacts the pacing of how these episodes are shown and how the characters are changed or modified or transformed, and how the themes also take a shape here. And it determines the story survival. See, the fandom, actually, the community building determines the survival of the story for how long it will go on. So, what we need to understand here is artificial intelligence in digital fantasy creation is something to do with content creation. Now, nowadays, this flash fiction and hypertext was already there long ago. Um, but the thing is, how much of participation is there in digital reading? That makes a difference. But with AI, I think people get engaged quickly, and they also are allowed to expose their personality more freely. That's what I found in this web series. And personalized storytelling, and it also transforms the engagement level. So blending fantasy and real life, characters mix fiction with creators' real life. So sometimes, if they feel sad or happy, they can bring in certain humor or anger there, or they can bring in some imaginative aspect or fantasy aspect there. What if it happens? So there's something that really, actually, there's always a silver line if it's a movie or series. Definitely there's a boundary between the creator, the director, the actors, but here the viewer and the creator almost come together, and the boundary is not very clear. So there's a lot of emotional connection that is built between the story and the characters there. So implications for the CMC theory here is there's media richness. It expands that, and there's a lot of synchronicity, and it really challenges the linear storytelling. Earlier, when hypertext and um, flash fiction, for example, and interactive storytelling is still there, still there's not much research in India on these lines. So not many people started exploring. It's just now that many people have started exploring ergodic or hypertext or interactive fiction. So this will really challenge linear storytelling, and there's a lot of scope for hybrid narrative interaction model. So these are other review of literature that I took related to AI and narrative construction. So as early as 2005, there's something called as procedural storytelling. So this is an early AI driven storytelling model where user inputs changes into the narrative paths. And in 2007, Nick Montfort, he is given interactive fiction and narrative theory. He shows how flexibility in storytelling aligns with CMC driven customization and AI generated responses. And in 2015, we can look at how authoring tools for interactive digital storytelling has come in. So AI enabled narrative systems are used to structure stories based on user interaction. And this is quite obvious that many authors have taken up such kinds of tools. Some openly reveal it, some people they don't reveal that they are using such kinds of authoring tools also. So, in terms of audience discourse behaviors and how the comment dynamics are, um, Shrivsky et al. In 2024, there's of course a lot of other literature that I've come across after 2015 and up till last year. So, one important aspect that I came across in terms of how the audience behavior is, there are 5 elements that motivate any individual to interact with user content. That is, one is for seeking information, then giving information. Now, usually in a book, in a text mode, or just text only on a digital space, unless there are platforms where we can give our views or reviews, we are not allowed to give our information. So, seeking self status. So, my social presence, according to the social presence theory, my social presence gives me some status there. So, there's a lot of interaction. I get to know other people, other people with similar interests. So, social interaction is there and it's a relaxing entertainment. So, these are very important 5 elements that motivate any individual in getting into such platforms. So the audience discourse behavior and how the comment dynamics are can be analyzed on these lines. So major findings here are storytelling, create a platform, and how the user look at it. Maybe after this, we can look at both the web series a few minutes because we do have time, and that's the reason I was just going on with the slides one after the other. CMC enables immersive fantasy. So, when we are talking about augmented reality or virtual reality, and we are into a fantasy world, it really helps us to, feel that yes, whatever I have thought or whatever I want has come into a reality, or there's a situation for my better understanding. I can go into that space and understand it. So, audience also are given a chance as co creators. So, the conclusion is CMC reshapes storytelling roles and digital fiction in one way. It's not just watching a YouTube, it's more viewer driven. It's not just I watch a small video clip and there ends everything. So the narrative goes on beyond the creator's world and it is an imaginative, viewer driven world. So here, as I mentioned, we have the scope for artificial intelligence and virtual reality and narrative branching. So each one can bring in their own twists and turns to the character or the situation. Now, there are a couple of questions that I felt that we can discuss. Can we still call it authored fiction? Or what are the ethical issues with algorithm visibility? And does it actually bring in the inner psychological being out? And are we making ourselves vulnerable? And how is the creative responsibility for the feedback? Audience? So I would like participants to respond to this.
Yeah, those are great questions to think about. I think, and if you can add them in the chats, we've got about a minute.
Oh,
Can it be called authored
time has.
fiction?
Yes.
And ethical issues with the algorithm visibility on YouTube? You're talking about YouTube algorithms, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And creator responsibility for feedback. So
Yeah.
as far as creator feedback responsibility, I don't think they take any responsibility. That's not the point. The point is to have engagement. And I think the minute they take responsibility, there's lack of freedom there,
Yeah.
right? Because then they're going to make changes based on their, um, their ethical beliefs or whatever. So it's not going to be as free and spontaneous, right?
Yeah. Actually, the video is not really slow as such. It's because we were trying to
Yeah,
share
it's
it live
Zoom.
stream.
Yeah, Zoom is not the right place
Yeah,
for YouTube.
it doesn't support like Microsoft Teams.
Oh, okay.
Teams,
So
I think the streaming is much better
yeah,
unless the net
probably.
connectivity is poor.
Yeah. So I don't see
So,
any comments.
yeah, there are a few comments
Oh yeah,
before
how
no
come I don't
sound.
see them?
I think there are co-creator that engages the fans into story and characters and
No, I mean I don't see any comments here in the
yes,
chat
yes,
box.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
AI
what
could
got
be
you
helpful.
started? I have a question for you.
Yeah,
What
okay.
got you started in this? I'm sure that everyone here is asking, what would bring a teacher, with your academic background and
Mm.
your interests as an English language teacher, how did you get involved in this?
Computer-mediated communication is something that it's also a research area.
Yes, but this is
So,
going a little bit beyond the
yeah,
teaching, and it's
yes,
more for others. I teach virtual reality and
yes,
immersive experiences and storytelling. So
yes,
I would be
yes.
someone that would be interested in this because that's what I
Mm,
teach.
mm,
But most teachers who don't teach this particular area don't go into
yeah,
it. So I'm wondering,
yeah.
are you a gamer?
No, I'm not a
Okay.
gamer. There's no time for gaming also, though we would love to. But of course, when I was talking to my scholars on computer-mediated communication, when we were talking about climate fiction and hypertext and things like that, I was already reading on Kevin Aloka's YouTube. There's a
Wow.
book.
Okay.
Okay, so the past 3, 4 years, I thought I will complete the book and I'll write an article. I'll write an article, and every other assignment came. And finally, when MMVC you asked for it, I thought, why not try something like this?
Wonderful. I think it's wonderful. And if you need someone to
Yeah,
kind of collaborate with you, I'm sure that
True,
others
true.
might. I know I would be interested. I
Definitely,
think
we can do something.
I think this is
Actually, I was
fantastic.
really worried till afternoon, Nelly, to be very honest. How will I do this? What am I going to do? All these are new to me.
Amazing.
Okay, as I kept reading, of course, I chose the web series. I'm not a good YouTube watcher also of all these kinds of videos. So it was really very different for me as an experience. But all the theories and analyzing and getting to know the young minds that they are
Hmm.
all going to be participatory, that actually drove me to see what actually is happening in the minds of people who are the audience who are going to participate. So I get an understanding of my students also who would be in this culture. So that was one thing that was interesting. And after I completed it, I was a little confident. Okay, I understood something and it's really interesting.
Amazing. Well,
This,
we're going to have to stop. I'm sorry. This is an
thank
amazing
you. Thank
topic,
you.
but we can continue on the Moodle and the conference LMS. We have to go on to the next speaker.
Thank
But
you.
thank you
Thank you.
so